So once again, good evening, everyone, and bon appetit who's having a dinner. And before this start, I would like to ask to mute your sound, but I see that you mute, so thank you so much. And I'm very happy and pleased to be here tonight and to talk about the amazing film Me and the Cult Leader, a modern report on the banality of evil, produced by Good People Inc. in association with Theatre Image Forum and TokyoFilmNoir.com.
Goa. TokyoFilmGoa.com.
Thank you so much, Atsushi. So here today, as you can see with us, is the director and producer Atsushi Sakahara.
Thank you very much.
I give an round of applause in these weird days of COVID where we can't give a real applause to the creators, at least we have the virtual ones. And me, I stay the Jute, and I'm an actress. So I've met Atsushi Sakahara at Busan Film Festival in 2015. So meaning 6 years ago, where he showed his right attitude and huge love for cinema. And I'm really honored to be here today to see his journey and moderate our conversation.
Thank you.
Me and the Cult Leader is a Japanese documentary on the 1995 Tokyo sarin gas attack perpetrated by doomsday cult Omu Shinrikyo, following victim Atsushi Sakahara's travels with current cult executive Hiroshi Araki. It is very personal, brave, hard, but lightly told journey of learning, taking responsibility, and forgiving. Despite the difficulties because of the global pandemic, the film reached a big success, and it has been screened in film festivals all over the world. The film had its premiere at prestigious Sheffield International Documentary Film Festival. I truly enjoyed the film, and Atsushi knows it very well. And I already have many questions prepared, but if you have a question or a thought which you want to express, please feel free, just raise your hand and we let you in, and we're really hoping that you're gonna have some thoughts or questions. So once again, Atsushi, congratulations.
Thank you.
You made a really interesting, touching, and I think really much needed film. We were chatting a bit before the official Q&A about how important it is. So how do you feel now after watching your story, which haven't been told in many years, and in a way reliving it again? Is it art, or you're watching as a piece of art, or you still feel everything while watching it? Hello, who just came?
Yeah, we have a new person came in. And could you please repeat the question again, the last part?
Yes, so hello, I just say that my name is Aiste, and I'm the moderator of our talk today. And here with us is Atsushi Sakahara, who's the producer and the director of the film. And we are talking about Me and the Cult Leader, a modern report on the banality of evil. And my question was, how do you feel now after watching your story, which haven't been told in many years, and in a way reliving it again? Do you watch it as a piece of art, or you still in a way reliving it again?
So it's sort of a piece of art now. It's so I can see it objectively. Objectively, yeah. I can detach it because I have a very strong sense of overcame what I suffered. Yes, because primarily because I did not run away from the making this film, and I completed that. That is a very strong. That gives a very strong sense of accomplishment, and also I can, with that feeling, I can detach myself from the film.
You're the victim of the attack, and you married a woman from the cult, and after many traumas, you still managed to create a documentary about the cult without a grudge, which is really, really, really hard. And how was it to make a documentary about an event and cult which brought you many hard and traumatic experiences? How was it? How was the process? How was the whole travel together?
I think I'm very strange person. I don't really have a grudge, on anyone, So maybe because I survived in the subway, attacked by the Saringas, right? And if you go without any particular reason, I was about to be killed randomly.
Yes.
If you go through that process, you tend to see the good in humans. And you will start having a very high hope for humans, right? So I met Hiroshi Araki. I had a very good high hope for him, you know. He will maybe learn something out of me or out of travel, he will change. And I didn't give him up. And I haven't given him up completely yet. So
are you still in touch?
I tried to once in a while, you know, like about a month ago, accidentally, or no, I called him and he took it, my call, but he didn't hear my voice. And I hung up and I called him and he never takes, you know, again, you know. So
do you think he regrets or of agreeing to go on that journey with you, or do you have any idea if someone from the cult watched your film?
I don't think he feels regret. Yeah, that's what it is, you know. He will probably accept or the consequence afterwards, you know. In my film, and I don't know why, but I don't feel that he feels regrets. No.
Have you talked with other victims before and even while making a film?
Yeah, I talked to a daughter of a mother who survived in the subway. She was in tears, and then she sang to me. That was sort of fulfilling. And then also, I had one audience at the theater when I did the Q&A. Is a friend of Hiroshi Araki's parents.
Wow.
And then her son or daughter, I don't know, the kid, is still in the Aleph, the Omushin Rikyo. And then she was asked by Hiroshi Araki's parents to come to see the film at the theater. And I think the mother of a not Araki, cult member, Aleph, seemed to be satisfied. And then she donated $50. So, so I feel that's another very fulfilling moment. And tomorrow, I'm going to be in Q&A in Toyama Prefecture. That's the middle part of the Japan, but east side. And tomorrow night, hopefully, I don't know, but I'm asking another victim around my age, a male victim, 2 hours away from the theater. So I don't want to force him to come. He is interested, please come. That's what I'm saying. And I'm very curious about what he say. Because he was in the NHK's TV documentary with me. And then he watched my first cut. So,
and what did he say then?
He was very polite, you know. He only say good things, but I knew that was not what he meant. So
did it change a lot during the process of editing from the first cut?
Yeah, very different now. First cut has not like current in a sense that the order of the scene is somehow summarized, like a mountain area, train, and something like that. It's very artificial. It's very different.
So how many hours in general you shot?
In some, 100 hours. 100. 100. So too long, but it's usually something like that for any documentary. 100 hours, and yes, and also the first cut did not have the scene where my past with my ex-wife reveal. So that will change the director's point of view completely. So that's why, yeah, we had a chance to go to film festivals, but I took it back. I am still a newbie, right? New director. I didn't know what to do. So, yeah.
And could you share with us in general how you came up with an idea to make a film? Because I know that you wrote a book first, and then later on you decided to make a film. So why you decided that book is not enough and you want to share the story with a wider audience?
Specifically about this film, I studied business in America for graduate education, not film. I'm coming from the business background. I'm a unsuccessful entrepreneur in Silicon Valley, okay? my friends made fortunes in Silicon Valley, but I didn't. Without money, I came back to Japan, okay?
And we are very happy because you became a filmmaker and a great filmmaker. So
I hope, yes. Thank you. So I come back and, I was lucky enough to be a producer for a short film that won the Palme d'Or. And I always had the feeling that if I make a film, that is better than that short film. That is a very high threshold, right? And that was my challenge. It's sort of that film is my textbook, if you make a great debut and your debut work is going to be a textbook, you always trying to be better than that, right? And that short film was like that. And one of my friend producer, actually he is a nephew of John Lennon, the Beatles.
Wow.
Told me, Atsushi, I don't think you would make a good producer. Thank you very much. Why you say that? And he said, I went to MBA. That's tuition is very expensive, but I went to MBA and I come back and he said, Atsushi, you have things to say. If you have things to say, you should be a director, not a producer. Producer's job is to help a director who has things to say. So, and then that night I changed my career from a producer. That night, to be a director. So wow. I started thinking, right, what I should tell. And, and then I come up with an idea to make a very short film, 5-minute film about my experience in subway. And I had, now he deceased, but Oscar-winning mentor. I asked him. His name is Mitsu Kaneko. He's Japanese, and his wife is 007 Bond girl. Really, and then I asked him, "What do you think?" He is a professor, and what do you think? He says, "Atsushi, that's a brilliant idea to make a 3-minute short film about your experience in the subway. And then you can win the Palme d'Or again with it." And then he said, "But make sure you have $2 million for that 3 minutes." So, I don't have $2 million for 3 minutes, right? He won the Oscar for the original Total Recall. Schwarzenegger and Sharon Stone. So he is a guy who works with a good budget,
And did you expect it that the film will get such an international recognition? Why do you think it happened? Is it the time that people are getting more and more interested in the cults, or they understand better the cults, or they understand the dangers of the cults, or it's something not even about the cults? Why you think the film, and did you expect it that it's going to be that successful and travel so much?
Every single director has a high hope. Okay, there's no exception, right? So that I'm one of those. So I have a very high hope. Okay, but I don't know. Setup is very unique. Also, you know what? I have a cap here, right? This baseball cap and glasses and this sweatshirt do not make Michael Moore. You know, my film is very different in the sense that point of view. I don't know how many film critics noticed it, but my film, AGANAI, or Me and the Calculator, has a very, very unique point of view. Because I write a novel too, right? Novel has three kinds of the point of view usually.
Yes.
One is I, second is the I stay, third, but told by the God's point of view. Third one is you are still main subject or main character, but we can use I stay as the name of the character. So I went with the third one. You know, people who is familiar with the narrative know this structure, but usually you don't have the material to use it because the person must be in front of the camera. The person must be the main character. Those setups are usually not so common. So that's why that it was a very first and biggest challenge in this production. You know, because I didn't have enough budget, I was about to go with my camera. That is my POV. But people stopped me. Whole crew stopped me. Atsushi, it's not going to be a good film. Okay, you know what? I understand that. I'm not a very good cameraman, right? But so then what can I do? My answer was go with the third one, you know, main character, Atsushi Sakahara. So that's why my shoulder, my edge of my hat is in the frame, always. This setup is technically very unique. I don't know how many film critics, no film critics so far mentioned about this aspect. But that was technically very, very challenging for me. And my cameraman, Tatsuya Yamada, did a fabulous job with it, my direction.
And how long did it take to prepare? Like everything to think about or to plan, and how many days you traveled together with Hiroshi?
To negotiate with him, I spent 1 year. And main trip was like 8 days, except the anniversary day. And maybe 2 weeks, you know, I spent the time with him shooting.
And then editing, hundreds of hours.
5 years. You know, editing was tough because I have a post-traumatic stress disorder. So if I sit in front of the monitor, I fall asleep like a elementary school pupil who hates mathematics. Right? Automatically, right? You know. So,
and while working on the film and editing and recording and preparing through the whole process, did you have any references? And if you had, could you share with us?
The reference is, you know, I'm not coming from documentary world, you know. I always wanted to make a very funny story. I know my one of my best most favorite film is Midnight Run, directed by Martin Brest. And I started having a dream to win the Oscar by watching Beverly Hills Cop. And now I realize that Beverly Hills Cop didn't win the Oscar. You know? And then Martin Brest directed that Beverly Hills Cop, and Martin Brest also directed Scent of Woman.
Yes.
I think he's good at directing buddy movies. All three movies are buddy movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
In a sense, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, but I really love the Midnight Run. So my documentary is very quiet. Many intellectual people say, Atsushi's film, your film is like a scarecrow. They are too intelligent. I'm not thinking that way. I'm a little bit simple guy, but in the end, I have a very quiet film like this.
Mm. And I didn't know personally, I didn't know much about the cult. It's coming from Northeastern Europe. And I didn't know much about the attack before watching your film. So, and after that, I was truly shocked to understand that the cult still exists and still functions. And during the last Q&A, I found out that there are like more people all over the world, all around the world, still being in that particular cult. And I wanted to ask you, what was your purpose with the film? You wanted to get more international attention. I'm asking besides the creative part, right? I'm asking in like as a political message. Did you have that kind of a thought? Did you want to warn people? Did you want just to analyze the cult?
I was trying to find the message in it always, but interestingly, in the end, I don't have any message. That's the part of the beauty of this film, because I just have a feeling. Because it is very hard. Because for this particular film, I'm a victim.
Yes.
I carry so much responsibility. I have so much responsibility. What I say. Most of people will not say anything to me. So I was always looking in search for truth. What is the truth? The truth is, when I finish the trip, the feeling, emotion I have is the truth. So I spent 5 years, I made 3 cuts and plus something, and 3 different editors, including myself, right? And final cut gives me the same feeling if I watch my film when I finish, the same as the feeling I had when I finished the travel. Usually documentarian say documentary tells a lie, correct?
Yes.
It tells a lie, but I could not allow myself to tell a lie. So what is the truth to myself? So my answer was the feeling I had at the very end, and that was, I shouted to co-producer when I watched the rough cut from that.
Hi, we're turning our camera on. Just wait a second. Oh, there we are.
Okay, now you are wildly famous Koichi and Karen and Koichi.
And we finally finished eating. Sorry about that. So, okay, I have many questions, but when you and I have spoken before, Atsushi, you've of course focused on a sort of the aftermath and things that aren't actually covered in the film, because of course that's not what the film is about. But for example, the fact that Japan took a very, very long time to provide any kind of compensation to all of the many victims,
right?
Over 6,000 victims, and that also some of the victims, especially those like yourself who had PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, were not given any compensation whatsoever, or any
for a long time. Yes.
Yes.
So treatment even, right?
Or yeah, assistance.
They did it 2008 to 10, only one time, and not so much. Okay. Basically, the government thinks that we should ask the cult group to pay us. And then Carl doesn't have money, so they went to bankruptcy. I think that's why it's very stupid. You know what? If you manufacture the sarin gas, we are entitled to bomb you, right? That's the international standard, That's how Japan also participated in the bombing in Iraq. That is the nature or scale of what Omo Shinrikyo did. And so it's very strange. It was a civil war. It's not a crime, right? And if it's a civil war, the government has to take care. But they treat like just a traffic accident. You should sue the driver. So the support program is not enough. Also, 2018, around the time, still, even experts don't know about the post effects. Well, I met one of the most well-known and prestigious toxic weapon expert who Japanese government asked for advice when the sarin gas took place through the US military and then diplomatic channel. And I met him in 2015. He came to Kyoto to give a lecture at the university. I asked him, is there any post effect from sarin gas? He says, no. But 2018, he published a book. In it, he introduced the excerpt from the medical journal. So even the top toxic weapon expert doesn't know. So nobody knows. So Japanese government legislated it. So I'm now trying to convince Japanese government to review the program and take some action. So today I wrote a letter for petition to the Prime Minister and Minister of, what do you say? Minister of Health, HW, Welfare, and
education.
No,
Health,
no.
education, and welfare. Yeah.
Is it education too?
I think so.
No, not education.
Oh, sorry.
Behavioral, right?
Yeah, whatever it is. So in charge of the healthcare or medicine, I wrote a 2 petition letter today. Before that, I talked to a congressman in the opposition party. He says he cannot help. I understand that because the law passed unanimously. It's hard to flip it in Japanese society, turn it around. So, but he suggested I should write a letter to them. So I did today. But thanks to the FCCJ conference, and that is a good backing, pretty good support for me, very good support. And Asahi Shimbun, Asahi newspaper wrote article, Mainichi wrote. We had 3 quality papers in Japan. So 2 quality papers back me up. And FCCJ conference and then also one medical journal excerpt from the doctor too in America. So with those evidence and my petition letter, I hope Prime Minister will think about it seriously, what he should do.
Fingers crossed.
Thank you. Then my life, with my life story, I can win the Oscar. You know what I'm saying? I never miss the chance to win the Oscar.
I have one more question.
Yes.
That I'd really like to hear about. When we talked at first, the film had just opened in Tokyo at the theater behind you, the
Yes.
Wonder Village Forum Theater. And so it was a little bit early, but now that it's been open for a while, have you received a lot of feedback from visitors? I know you don't live in Tokyo, so you're not able to go.
I
and
tried,
hang out.
first week for 3 days, second week, 3 days. I was at the theater and greeted most of the audiences, and I gave a signature And yeah, the audiences, much of audiences really liked my film. But I don't know if they are nice or kind. I don't if they really like my film. But so far, I have a good feedback. And March 20th is the day when the incident took place. Of course, I had a lot of media attentions and a lot of coverage. Then now, I still have some media coverage. Tomorrow night, I will have Hokuriku Asahi Hoso, meaning HAB. It wants to have an interview tomorrow night. And still, that kind of things keeps going on. So, like, I don't know, like a 100-meter sprinter, like, I did a jump start. Now, the power of the film is being tested now.
And it's very different because it's a documentary, so it's very different journey comparing to the fiction.
That's right.
And it's so much harder to stay in cinemas. It's so much harder to get the attention because usually documentary audience is so close and so much smaller and really precise and so on. So you did a great job.
Thank you. But the challenge is though, people don't follow the story because I'm too handsome. That's the problem. Don't you think? Why you laugh, Do
we have more questions in the audience?
This is the sense of humor.
Yes, please, Kao.
Kao?
Yes, thank you so much. First of all, I'm sorry about I'm hiding my face because I talk with Mr. Sakahara recently by Japanese, so I said to him I'm very scared about the own religion, so very sorry about that. And yes, and I respect Mr. Sakahara because this is very incredible thing and great job about the take movie about the documentary. This is so incredible thing for almost Japanese because this is very difficult and untouchable things for many of Japanese, I think. So now I want to ask to Aiste, Ms.
Yes.
Aiste and Ms. Karen. So for me, foreign people, I want to ask you. What is the part do you think most Japanese in the event of Siren and Om group?
Could you repeat the question?
Yeah. So especially, what do you think about the Om Shinrikyo's siren attack? This is very characteristic things for the world. At Japan, maybe I think Japanese people's characteristic problem, I think, because for example, like a similar with North Korea or something, everybody think same thing, and everybody do same thing. Maybe deep essential is suppressed from some feelings of Japanese atmosphere, I think. Can you understand?
Meaning you say that because of the Japanese psyche.
Yes,
like psychological, sociological psychology.
Yes, that's right. So I think maybe Japanese have some characteristics background, I think.
For the almost things.
Yeah, that's right.
Phenomena.
So this is not only sarin attack problem, I think. So I want to ask foreign people. So what do you think about the Japanese this
culture
thing?
or some?
Yes, that's right, culture. Yes, exactly, culture.
Thank you. You will start, Karen, please.
Sure. I thought you might say that. I'm at an advantage over iStay because I live here and I've lived
Japan.
here in Japan. Yes, I should say Japan for a pretty long time. And so, and I have a Japanese husband who, you know, answers a lot of questions and listens to a lot of complaints from me about Japan and things that I don't understand and things that are different from my own culture. I know a lot about Om Shinrikyo only because it's the subway bombings 26 years ago were the single largest attack of on Japanese soil by homegrown terrorists in history. And, you know, so that's something that even if we weren't riding on the trains that morning when it happened, it's something that stays in everybody's psyche, that we know Om Shinrikyo was forced to disband, but it still continues as Olive. And so I think Atsushi's film is absolutely incredible because for me anyway, and I think for a lot of foreign viewers, the main message of the film seems to be the only possible way that we can engage with people who might promulgate terrorist acts and other violence is through conversation. The only possible way that we can try to understand them is to listen and ask questions and listen to their answers and be, as Atsushi is in the film, gentle, you know, a little bit pushy, a little bit crazy, but you know, to listen and in a way to almost offer his friendship. And I think a lot of people around the world are feeling this way now because we have so many problems with people that we feel we can't possibly see eye to eye with. So if we can engage in conversation and communicate with them.
That's there I can follow you because this is exactly what I thought after watching. I'll start from the other way around to tell what I think. So this is exactly what I thought after watching Atsushi's film. And as Karen said, there are many things happening in the world. There are many things happening in my country, in Lithuania. We have our own problems, but the problems are such as homophobia, racism, are everywhere. Like, I'm not even going to the cults and all of that. But this is the main thing which we are lacking is the conversation. And Atsushi shows an amazing example by himself, because usually is the hardest thing for the victim to forgive and to be able to open herself and to communicate. And he shows by himself that it is possible. It is possible, even after many, many traumatic experiences, it is possible to move on. It is possible to engage the conversation, and it is possible to forgive in that way, to understand, because what we need to understand, we need to try to understand each other, at least to know, at least to show that we are willing to try to understand both sides. And it brings me other thoughts in general, talking about the cults. And I think this is another problem which we have all over the world before the pandemic, during the pandemic, and we're going to have after the pandemic, is the loss of the community. And that individualism, which is already for many years, for centuries here in our societies, for some people it's unbearable, and some people feel so lonely and so lost and so left. And usually the people who are the ones who create the cults, they see those kind of people around and they attract them with that sense of the community. And all the cults from as far as I know, the majority of the cult starts from the very beautiful message to be together, to be love, to share love, or to be together. And then all the bad things come and all the horrible things happen. But this is the thing that bring people together. This is the sense that they want to be a part of the community. And then it brings me thoughts that maybe we should try to engage with people around us, to create our small communities, but like, you know, to have a garden together, to plant trees together. That would be so much better for our universe. It would bring so much really true love, and just not to turn around from your neighbor. And I've never been to Japan, but I have Japanese friends, and I know, and of course I will come one day. And I have really beautiful friends, and I have so much love for the Japanese culture and for the Japan, and as a country with a majestic history.
You are in a workshop KFL too, right?
Yes, of course. So remember, I met Atsushi in 2015. In Busan Film Festival. And then later on, I became really good friends with Takeo Hisamatsu, who is now not anymore, but he was the director of Tokyo International Film Festival. Because we were in a jury together, and he was just a pure love. And we're still in touch. And what it showed to me, and it just, like, all the people I've met only proved what I knew, or what I read in books, or what I saw in cinema before, like a huge amount of politeness, of sensitivity, of elegance, of trying to understand, of respect, a huge amount of respect, which this is how I see Japan culture. And I don't think that it's because maybe because I come from Eastern Europe, or like slightly North Europe. We are close too. We are like we really close people. Me as an actress, I express myself a lot. That's a different thing. But in North Europe, people are very close. So in a way, I understand that kind of a thing, and I don't think that it relates with being in a cult or not. It's more about like really just people who are desperate to be together. That was my answer. Thank you for the question.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thank you so
much.
much.
Hearing the Karen and Ista's comment, and that reminded me my one story episode in my life. Is like after Saringas attack, I went to the States. I spent 1 year, 1997-6, with the Jewish rabbi. Then after 1 year, I left his place and moved to Washington, D.C. One of my best friends is a Syrian doctor. But he is not a Muslim, but he's Orthodox, Syrian Orthodox. But he's Arabic. And he needed money, so I let him borrow. But for his pride, for this film, he let me borrow some money. So that was 20 years friendship. And when I was in Washington, D.C., and after applying to many business schools, and he drove me to New Jersey, where my rabbis lives. And he didn't have that much money, but he shared the car with his friend's doctor. And I took Amtrak, went to my rabbi's place. And I wanted to introduce him to the rabbi. They are living in the opposite side of Jolan Heights in the Middle East, right? And I had a key. So would you come in? I will make a coffee for you. Let me introduce my rabbi. And I still remember what he says is, don't ask me to go into the house of a Jewish family where the Jewish are not present. In on outside of Joran Heights, it is enough to be shot there. That's how I know he must be a great friend of you. He must be a great person. And you are such a great friend of mine. But you know what we know, or what we learned as a history is too different. So he said, "Let me go." He go. He left. That's the moment I remember. But the funny thing is, though, 1 year after that, I called him, and he started working as a doctor. Right? I helped him financially a bit, and he paid it back. He passed USMLE. And a lot of doctors are Jewish in America, right? Very, very well educated. And then he started having a Jewish boss. He told me, "Atsushi, Jewish are not so bad after all." So we will see. We will see. But that experience was my sort of original experience, you know. I was in search for that kind of story after I survived in the subway. So that's why I always, you know, I once thought that I'm too naive as a Japanese because we don't have that kind of the very hard conflict in regard with religions in Japan, right? Yeah. But I don't know. We'll see. I will come back to the theme in my next project or something.
So do you want to tell us, could you share with us what are you working on now and what we can expect?
I have 2 projects. One is everybody thinks that my life is very interesting. You know, in a nutshell, I produced a short film. That means I bought a good coffee at Starbucks. Then the film won a Palme d'Or at Cannes, right? Can you believe, you know? And the second one is I made a short film. I didn't do much, and the film was not so successful, but my producer won the Nobel Prize in Economics last year. So my editor tells me that Atsushi sounds like having the Nobel Prize winner producer is more prestigious than winning an Oscar. So third one is this film. This film is amazingly, without any experience. I didn't have that, you know. I haven't went to any good school, like film school. I didn't have a chance to work for a director as assistant director. No chance, no experience. But somehow I have a very good team and managed to make it internationally well accepted, I think I can say. So people want me to write my autobiography and make it a film. That's one. Two is from the experience I survived in the subway, gas attack, and many people say have many explanations, okay? Many kinds of explanations, but I think economy is very important. If you're not starving, you're not starting, you won't start fighting, right? Right? If so if you have, you're not starving, so that's why economy is very important. That's one of the themes. That's why I'm teaching at school, economics at the graduate school now. I want to make a film about film director wannabe, aspiring film director with management skill set before I become a director. That is the main character, and that is helping a beautiful management lady. And in the end, he's asked to attend her marriage ceremony. It's a good story, to help people around, and it's sad, but as the audience expects, it ends, but it should be, I can manage to make it very funny. And then I have a plan to translate my book. Already I wrote a book and published a book, translated into English, and the English version, probably I'm trying to make it available to the rest of the world for free as a textbook. That's my vision. Then I win the Nobel Prize peace or something. You know, you never know.
exactly
You
what
never
we-
know.
And that's exactly what we wish after getting an Oscar.
I mean, that's right. Or maybe opposite, you know, win the Nobel Prize, peace, and then Oscar, you know. We'll see.
Okay. Thank
I
you
don't
so
know.
much, Sushi, and thank you everyone for this very lovely and cozy evening after me and the cult leader a modern report on the banality of evil. And thank you for the applauses. Huge applauses to every one of you. And please spread the word about the film, and we will be hoping to see you in other films made by Atsushi Sakahara.
And also, I hope you can appear.
Me
I have to
too.
talk to your agent, okay? I will talk to your agent. Make sure, you know. Now, you know, your agent will be very happy.
Thank
Yes.
you so much, and have a
Thank
good
you.
evening, everyone.